All right, so today I just have a little homeschool mom chat planned. I thought that I would just pretend that you're a friend coming over and having coffee with me in my somewhat unpacked house and talking about how our homeschool has been going for the fall quarter. Now, as you can see, kind of yet again, another new setup here. This is our room. I don't normally film in our bedroom, but it was the one place in the house that was decently lit and was quiet this afternoon, or at least somewhat quiet. So welcome to our room. I grabbed some coffee. I've actually been experimenting with making kind of more fancy drinks, lattes, things like that at home from scratch. I invested in a milk frother last year, just like a little $7 battery operated thing. Maybe I'll do a video sometime about some of my favorite recipes that I have concocted to substitute my Starbucks addiction. So in case you are new around here and you don't already know me, my name is Sarah and we are in our 10th year of homeschooling. That's bizarre to say. I cannot believe we've been doing this a decade. Currently, I am schooling an 8th grader, a 7th grader, and a 2nd grader. And then I also have 2 toddlers running around who are 2 and 3 years old. If you caught my last video, you know that this quarter in our homeschool has not gone as planned. We have been running on fumes. I actually personally have not been able to sit down and do very much teaching with my kids for the last several weeks. And so I just want to talk about that today. I want to kind of go through and subject by subject reflect on what has been working, what hasn't, and everything in between. All right, so let's start by talking about math. Sorry, I've got these books kind of behind me here. Okay, so you probably already know that we have used Math-U-See for the entirety of our homeschool. This is the program that we have stuck with through all of these years and absolutely love it. I had planned and intended for all of the kids to be switching into their new math books by about mid-September. But that just didn't happen. We ended up having to take several weeks off in the middle of the quarter and a lot of days off sprinkled out throughout. And so they're a little bit behind where I want them to be. But that being said, I just can't say enough about Math-U-See as a program, especially for my older kids. They have been able to continue on watching their DVDs, doing their worksheets, taking their tests, pretty much independently. There is occasionally where they will have a question or not be able to understand a problem and they will come and ask me or ask Justin for a little bit of help. But for the most part, they are able to do this program on their own. Now, Mariah, who is 8 and in the beginning of 2nd grade, she is not necessarily able to do math completely on her own. She can watch the videos. She can try to work out some of the problems by herself. But this quarter, she definitely has not completed as many worksheets as I would want her to. However, we have been able to supplement with some other things in her math that have kept her skills sharp, and she's just continued to be able to work on memorizing all of those addition and subtraction facts. So the one tool that I want to talk about that has just been wonderful for that, it is an app. I have it on my phone. I have it on the iPad. It is called Fast Facts Math, and I don't know if you can see it here. The glare is probably terrible. So here it is. This is Fast Facts Math. You can set up addition, subtraction, just tests. They're kind of like flashcards for your child. You can set up different usernames. So Noah, Leah, Mariah, each one of them kind of have their own little account. And so this has been a lifesaver. She has been going through and doing her math facts almost every day on the app. And it's just helped to kind of, you know, be a nice little substitute and supplement to our math curriculum. All right, next up, let's talk language arts. Noah and Leah have been working through IEW's Structure and Style 1B. They watch the DVDs. It's a 2-part DVD every week, so they'll watch that on Monday and Tuesday. And then they spend the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, writing a rough draft and a final draft of a paper. This has worked really well. They've been able to do this program pretty much on their own. I do have to edit their papers every week, but overall, I've been able to be very hands-off with this program, and their writing is just improving week in and week out. Now, let's talk about something that hasn't gone so well, analytical grammar. I was so excited to purchase this. You guys knew that this was a curriculum I just couldn't wait to dive into with the kids at the beginning of the quarter. Well, this was one of the ones we had to table. Because it was a new curriculum, I wasn't familiar, I wasn't confident enough with it to just hand it off to my kids, and so we just shelved it, and we have not even cracked a single lesson in this yet. Right now, I'm currently planning on having us start this in January, just doing it at the first of the year, and we'll just see how much we get through. All right, so the other vein of language arts is spelling UC, and that is something my older kids, they're still working through spelling books, even though they're in 7th and 8th grade. We just love the program. I see so much value in it. And it is not grade-based anyways, it's very much skill-based, and so I'm not necessarily concerned about what book they're in or what level they're in. We just kind of keep plugging along and doing one lesson at a time. And so we shelved that for most of the quarter and just picked it back up this week. It's been going really well. Their spelling is doing just fine. But yeah, spelling UC, we're just gonna pick it right back up where we left off. All right, so Mariah, my 2nd grader, she's been my one I have been concerned the most with during this move and during the transition of this quarter. I really did not want her to fall behind in her reading skills and her phonics skills. I was not able to sit down and have that shoulder-to-shoulder time with her that I usually like to have with my children when they're this age. And so I'll be honest with you guys, I'll be transparent. I finally just decided to pay Leah, my 7th grader, to tutor Mariah in phonics in Happy Cheetah. We love the program, and so Leah would sit down with Mariah every day and work through a lesson or two with her. This was a great opportunity for Leah because she's been wanting to earn some extra money for Christmas presents and things like that. It was also a really fun bonding experience for the two girls to sit and do reading together every day. Now, that being said, I think that this speaks volumes for Happy Cheetah about how wonderful of a curriculum it is, how light it is on pressure for the instructor. It is very much open and go. I mean, I was able to hand the book to my 12-year-old and she was able to open and go and teach it to my 8-year-old. So we love Happy Cheetah. Mariah is actually so excited and proud. She just finished book 2 this morning, and so we will be moving into book 3 right after Thanksgiving. All right, so science and history for Noah and Leah. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just ran down the steps to grab these books because I forgot to bring them up. But first of all, science. They have been reading through Machines and Motion. This is from God's Design for the Physical World. It was put out by Answers in Genesis when I originally bought it. I think it's through Master Books now. They have done this book this quarter. It has been really good for them. They've just read it on their own and then done written narrations at the end of every lesson for me to read through and kind of check. Again, we've had to do this very minimally. I was not able to add in a bunch of activities and experiments and literature and books for them to go along with it. We just simply did this book with written narrations, and they've learned a lot and comprehended a lot. Next up is a new curriculum to us this year. This is U.S. History Detective Book 1, and we have loved this curriculum. Yet again, I feel like I just keep saying this over and over. We're a little bit behind where I would want us to be. I would love to see them a few more lessons ahead. And so what we have decided to do is normally I would schedule history twice a week and science twice a week, and the kids kind of go back and forth and do science on Monday, history Tuesday, science Wednesday, history Thursday. Well, while we're in this little season of catch up, I've been having them do a lesson of each book every single day. And so it's been a lot. It's been a heavy workload for them the last couple of weeks, but I think they both are feeling better about catching up and being where they want to be in their books. And again, it's a growing season for them. It's challenging for them. And that's a good thing for your kids from time to time. As much as I enjoy minimal homeschool and fun homeschool and joy-filled homeschool, there is a time to just put your head down and get to work. All right, group subjects. First of all, morning time has not happened at all. I don't even know where my poetry books are at the moment. I think they're probably in one of the bazillion boxes that are down in the basement, but we have not done morning time at all whatsoever. As far as read alouds, honestly, I have just heavily relied on audiobooks. I had banked several Audible credits over the summer, and so when we moved into this house, I let each one of the kids pick out a new audiobook. So they have listened through most of the Little House on the Prairie series, the Beezus and Ramona series. Noah has been working through the Wing Feather Saga. He read those books himself, and so now he's listening to them on audio. It's just been great. They've listened to hours and hours and hours of other people reading aloud. And I always say that audiobooks count as read alouds. It's okay. It's okay to substitute and supplement in your homeschool with audiobooks and take a little bit of reading time off of you as mama. And so I'm not ashamed to say that's what we've been doing. We're probably going to keep on doing that for a few more weeks. As far as other group subjects, in particular, unit studies, yet again, something else in our homeschool that just has not happened. I was all geared up and had begun to plan and prep for the farming and food unit from Gather Round, and we never did a single lesson. It actually grieved my heart to have to return all of the library books that I had reserved and checked out to go along with this unit. But it's okay. I still have all the things that I purchased and put aside for this unit. I think we're going to jump into this after the first of the year in January, but I was really sad. We've missed Gather Round. One unit study that I did put in this quarter, just kind of at the last minute a few days ago, I went ahead and purchased the In the Season of Thanksgiving from Campfire Curriculums. You can tell I didn't even take the time to bind it. I did not print out individual copies for each one of my kids. I just printed out the adult version for myself. We've been doubling up lessons the last couple of days. It's written in a living book format, so I have just been reading a couple of lessons aloud to them every day during one of our meals. We are not doing any of the activities. We are not doing any of the other suggested things in the curriculum. We are just doing it as a read aloud, and it's been really rich and really fun. It actually encouraged us to find our box of Thanksgiving picture books and get that out and at least put it out as a book basket in the living room for the time being for the next week or so. So this has been a really fun Thanksgiving unit. I think we'll definitely save it and do it again next year and maybe do some more of the add-ons and things like that. All right, so preschool. I did an entire video about my preschool plans that I was going to do with my 2- and 3-year-olds this year. Honestly, we've done none of it. I don't even know where any of those supplies currently are. They were one of the first things that I boxed up and packed when we were moving, and they will probably be one of the last things I unpack around here. It hasn't been a priority. You know, my kids are 2 and 3. It was something I was just wanting to do with them for fun and extra. And so preschool just hasn't happened. We might pick it up in January. We might wait and just start it next summer or in the fall. And that's okay. The other thing is Ezra, my 3.5, he's going to be 4 in the winter. He actually does attend preschool several days a week. He goes to our public preschool here in town. And so that has just been such a blessing to him, such a blessing to our family. And because of that, that's given me some accountability to be a little bit more intentional about sitting down with him every afternoon for 15 or 20 minutes, reading a board book with him, going over some of his speech therapy exercises. So preschool is happening, at least with Ezra, but not in any way that I had planned. And you know, I mentioned this in my last video, but I've just really seen this quarter more than ever that God fills in the gaps. Things did not go the way I wanted them to go for Ezra and Ava this year, but things have gone in a different direction, and they've learned so much and done other things that weren't even on my radar. And so that's okay. they're growing, they're learning, they're progressing, and it's okay if it didn't go the way I planned. A few other big takeaways that I have from this quarter is just that my kids have really helped one another. As siblings, they have really grown and bonded and done things together. So for example, in our new house here, one of the reasons we bought this house is there are nature trails right behind our home. There's a pathway that goes down by a creek, and there's just all kinds of trees and wonderful little walkways that the kids can go exploring on. So this is a new habit that they have kind of on their own cultivated this quarter. Every day at lunch and at dinner, while I'm busy getting food ready, they put all the babies' hats and gloves and boots on, and they go outside and they walk, they explore. They go find a new path. They go look for a new rock or a new tree. And it's nothing formal. They aren't nature journaling. They aren't doing anything assigned. They just spend time outdoors together. And so it's just been really neat to see that kind of happen on its own organically without me having to organize it or assign it or architect it. Another huge thing I have learned is that we don't need a school space. I really like having a school space. I love and I miss having a school space, but it is not something that we need. My kids have done school in the kitchen, on the couch, on their beds, on the floor, outside. You know, we have just kind of put school books in boxes and moved them around wherever we've been. And we've just made school happen in the space that we have allotted to us at the time. I mean, honestly, a few books, pencils, paper is all we've had, and it's been fine. It has worked well. So sometimes you've just got to work with what you got and make the best of it. And, you know, we don't need a school space, but gosh, do I really want one. So this is something else that I think as homeschoolers, we say a lot, but I have truly learned this lesson the last few weeks. There is so much education and school that happens in just the day-to-day life of running a household, at being at home. During the move, Leah packed most of my kitchen for me. She learned how to pack boxes and unpack boxes and organize dishes and things in a kitchen to make it functional. Noah has done a ton of heavy lifting and yard work. For several weeks, he was mowing grass at this house and at our old house. So he was learning landscaping skills as we had guys here cutting down trees and doing all kinds of things like that. They learned about service and self-sacrifice and suffering as they watched people from our church bring us meals, friends come over and help us do yard work and housework and painting. People have just dropped what they have been doing in this season of life to help us and to serve us. And my kids have learned so much through that by watching that as an example. So as quickly as I am to beat myself up about the fact that we haven't done all of the things on my checklist, we haven't done all the things in my plan, or my kids are getting behind, we're gonna flunk this school year, I just have to take a breath and remember they are learning, they are progressing, and they're improving in ways that I can't mark in a school notebook. All right, so what is next for us? Well, it is the middle of November. We're just a few days away from Thanksgiving. So we are probably going to take a few days off again to celebrate Thanksgiving with our family and start getting ready for Christmas, do some decorating and things like that. But then I am planning on jumping back in and doing the new Gather Round Christmas Around the World mini unit. So my next video is actually going to be a plan and prep video as I get my feet wet and get back into the world of Gather Round. I'm so pumped. So stay tuned for that. I will probably be doing some day in the life or some type of family vlog as we are going through that unit, so stay tuned. All right, guys, well, I hope that you are enjoying getting ready for the holidays. I'll see you later.